Okay, this is where we left. This is where we left Bill. We basically had a robot class which basically has got a constructor in here which sets up the name alive or dead, and we've got a couple of methods here. This one will set the state to whatever we want to set it to, alive or dead, and this one here just gives us a report on the name and whether they're alive and so forth. So that's all the robot class does. And if we call that up with make a robot called Bill and run it and say what is my state, you get something like, let's have a quick look, you get something like this. Runs, it says I'm called Bill and I'm alive. That's what the constructor, this constructor business does here. What I'm going to do now is just look at this killer robot here, and what I really want to do is a killer robot is a type of robot. It is a robot, so I don't want to have to rewrite all of this this stuff in here, and that is one of the beauties of object programming, is that I can just extend that robot. I can just do that. It's going to give us an error, I'm going to explain that in a second, but that's it, that's how you extend it. So now we can take the robot and add things that killer robots do. Now it's come up with a slight error here, and in fact if you hover over it, it should tell you killer robot extends robot. Right, just a second. Oh sorry, typo, there we are, extends robot, and it's come up with an error here. Now it says when you extend robot, well, robot has a constructor in it which we feed it a name. See, it says here robot string name, we feed it a name. So what you have to do is you have your killer robot has a constructor as well called kill robot, and you have to then feed that a name also. Let's call it my name, something like that. And what you then do is there's an idea called super, which basically refers to the superclass that you've just extended your robot from. So if you now say super, you can now feed it. That should basically do it like that. Typo, I had a capital S there, like that, and it is a lowercase s. Okay, so that's going to feed it. It'll feed the constructor to robot the name that you're giving killer robot. That sorts that bit out. Let's have a think about now what killer robots do. Well, I guess they kill other robots. So if we have a we need a method in here which is something like let's call it public void and oh, I know, destroy sounds pretty impressive. And we're going to feed this a robot. So we're going to feed it a robot and call it my victim. Sounds pretty impressive. And let's think about what we could do to this public. Not quite sure what that is. Public. There we are. I'm not quite sure what sort of things we could do to it. Well, first of all, we'll get its name. So we'll say my. Let's do South. Victim is called, and now we'll call my victim dot let's go grab the robot's name because we already said that in there. It's pretty good. And we'll now do, oh, I've got some sort of error. Oh, I need to put a plus in here, sorry. And we'll now say we'll do my victim victim dot alive or dead equals dead, something like that. Okay, and we can say my victim is that, and well, in fact, what we'll do is this. We'll say my victim dot what is my state. We'll get the victim to say what his state is, and then we'll bump him off, and then we'll say my victim dot victim, capital V again, victim dot what is my state. We'll find out what's happened there, and then we'll have something on the lines of something like that. Okay, so we're going to create this killer robot, and we're going to feed him a victim and see what happens to the victim. That's what killer robots do for a living, basically. So let's go over to RobotPals, and so we're going to create this killer robot, and we're going to call him, I don't know, Killer, sounds a good name. New robot, and we're going to feed him a name as well. Actually, we'll give him the same name. There we are. Okay, and we'll do, and let's just check he's alive and so forth. So what I'll do, killer dot. It's taking a long time. Oh, because I did capital K there. Just a second. Okay, just make that smaller. Killer dot. And do what is my state, something like that would be quite good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do killer and then dot destroy, and we're going to feed him Bill. And in fact Bill was the only other object there, so NetBeans has already selected it. That's it. Let's have a little look what happens now. Alright then, so we created Bill, and it tells us here I'm called Bill and I'm alive. And then we created Killer, and it says I'm called Killer, I'm alive. And then we fed Killer a victim called Bill, and so Killer then said my victim is called Bill. And then we rattled Bill's cage and we got him to say that he's alive. Then we bumped him off and he said, oh no, I am called Bill and I am dead. And then Killer just basically let out a big howl. And now have a go at that, and then I'm going to show you a good robot, and you can then have a play yourselves.